The media got people acting like fools while they sit on their fancy desk cooking up their mental junk food, clogging up any remaining arteries, and in the process turning people into mindless zombies, watching their bank accounts get fatter with every story, paying mind to what feeds them, and forfeiting attempts to feed the masses with truth. Welcome. This is the Valentine Show. Guys, welcome to the show. Once again, I am your host, Valentine. Guys, a lot has been going on this week with the Charlottesville protest. And a lot of information has been coming out, but now that the dust has settled, I am ready to give a comment. I have done my research and I think I'm able to help some people out sort out this whole situation as to what's going on. So without further ado, let's go. For those of you that are colorblind, yes, that is an oxymoron to some people that don't know their history. That is a black Confederate soldier. Yes, there were black Confederate soldiers, and that was a black guy holding a Confederate flag. Which should put you to wonder, if you're a questioning person, how is it that a black guy is holding a racist object, a racist flag that is downplaying his race? How is that possible? Believe it or not, there are many black Americans who are against the removal of Confederate monuments across the USA. There are many black Americans, African Americans, who are against the removal of the Confederate flag in the USA. And why is that, you ask? Very important. Facts. History. To many people in the South, this flag has become a symbol of their heritage, a symbol of their history, of where they come from. It does not only, and it does not represent to them a history of slavery. It represents pride of being a Southerner. And I quote, "We condemn in the strongest possible term this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides." And I support that statement. I don't think that statement was in whatsoever from Donald Trump controversial in any shape, way, or form. He stated what was the truth. There were many sides to what was going on. They had two sides. Remember, people, you need two people to tango. It's like a gang war. It's like the Bloods are having a barbecue and the Crips show up. What do you expect to happen when there's two groups that have shown up to go to battle, and both of them showed up to go to battle? They were both armed. And while we on the topic about gangs, the mainstream media in the same exact weekend that Charlottesville's going on, with one died and two police officers, 9 people died in Chicago and 30 wounded. Meanwhile, you do not know about it because the mainstream media does not want you to know about it, because it wants to further its views of racism in America, which give them what? More money. In the description down below, I will be leaving the link to that story. But my favorite one of these two is the story of the young guy, of the young man that he has been made a victim of white supremacy. This guy right here, you remember?
Yesterday's rally to speak against the white nationalists there, but was attacked and left with a broken wrist and his head split open.
I just wanted to come out, voice my opinion. It wasn't violent. I mean, it was just verbal. Yeah!
Do something. Touch my nigga. I promise to God I'm going off. Do something, nigga. Do something, nigga. Do something, you bitch ass nigga. You bitch ass nigga.
Basically, yesterday, as we was at the parking garage, and bunch of Nazis and more white supremacist group and KKK was marching through the road, and we was all exchanging words back and forth. And then as we walked down further with them, they just ambushed us into the parking garage. And
bitch ass! Bitch ass! Bitch! I beat you off that baseball helmet, bitch!
A few moments later.
And a day after that attack, Harris started an online account to raise money for medical bills. He collected more than $100,000.
And I'm just out here trying to get all this money they're trying to offer me and make music, man. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just out here trying to get all this money they're trying to offer me and make music, man. That's all I'm trying to do, is make my music.
This guy was made a victim, saying that he was just there and he just wanted to voice his opinion. In the description down below, again, I'm going to be leaving a full what this guy was doing. And the reason that this guy got a gash in his head, which I don't agree with that he should have gotten a gash on his head. But the reason, there is a reason behind anything. And it's not good for any of us to jump the gun and support anybody that we don't know what is the story behind this guy. This guy opened up a GoFundMe page, and he's over like $160,000 being donated to him because he is a victim. And the funny thing is that this guy was given an interview, and the reason and what he says is just, I'm just here trying to get this money they're trying to offer me so I can make my music. You guys are donating for this guy. This guy did not mention anything about no stupid monument. He does not care about a monument. He's just trying to make, he's just trying to get this money to make his music. He doesn't care about no monument. And you guys are donating to this guy who was armed and went there to fight, and he came out on the losing end of the stick. And you guys are donating to this guy. So this guy is playing all you guys. Every single one of you that donated to this guy, this troublemaker, you guys, he just took all of you for a fool. And like I said, two groups showed up. And again, I am not, in no way, shape, or form, I am not taking any sides here. I am condemning the neo-Nazis and I am condemning Antifa. Both groups showed up to fight. But let me guess something. They wanted to take down this monument. I wonder why the extremist group takes down monuments that they don't agree with.
فمت يا ضفدع الشغب هذا أوان النجوم في أفق طغت عليه غيوم القهر والغلب هذا أوان سير المسك في زمن ميلا دقيقة فمت يا ضفدع الشغب هذا أوان النجوم في أفق طغت عليه غيوم القهر والغلب وحق حق دولة السماوين يا قدر الأصنام والحطم الله أكبر حق هل الأيام سالفة.
Loris Jones from Fox News says, when you remove history, you set yourself up to repeat it again. Let's see what some of the most prominent men and founding fathers of the United States have to say about slavery. Let's go. George Washington. Between him and his wife, there were 317 slaves at his property. He owed about 150, 40 were leased, and the rest belonged to his wife. Thomas Jefferson, $2 bill. I don't have a real one, guys. Owned 600 slaves. Abraham Lincoln, $5 bill. Known as to be the freer of the slaves, believed slavery was morally wrong, but believed colonization could resolve the issue of slavery, meaning that the United States could have sent slaves back to Africa or to South America to resolve the slave problem. Also, even though he believed all men are created equal, echoing the founding fathers, he opposed black slaves to vote, to serve on juries, to hold office, or to intermarry with whites. This is the freer of the slaves, guys. Alexander Hamilton, $10 bill. He married into a slave-holding family, and even though he is not known to own slaves, he did business on behalf of his in-laws, purchasing and transferring slaves. Andrew Jackson, $20 bill, owned about 150 slaves. Ulysses S. Grant, he fought for the Union, but he's guilty too just because he's white. Guys, I'm poor. I do not have a $100 bill. This YouTube channel is brand new. Benjamin Franklin, he was the most conservative of the bunch. He only owned 2 slaves. I am starting a new movement today. We are going to replace all these racist white guys, and we're going to replace them with new people. No, not new people. We're going to replace them with gender fluid, non-binary Pokemons. I better be careful. I'm giving these leftists too many ideas. In the Bible, it says, the man without sin, let him cast the first stone. If you think you're so perfect, let you cast the first stone. Meaning that if you don't have no faults, well, you can fault somebody. And guess what? Everybody has fault. In no way, shape, or form I am promoting the slaves or saying that it was correct for these men, these founding fathers, these presidents to own slaves. Like it or not, history doesn't care about feeling. History was not pretty in the world. We just have to deal with that situation. We cannot go on and remove every single thing we feel offensive to us. There are people that believe that some things are offensive and some things are not. But like it or not, neo-Nazis, KKK, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and any of these other racial extremist groups have a right to express their opinions, protected under the First Amendment. We do not have to like what these people have to say. We do have to respect their space, and if we don't like what they say, we just gotta keep it moving. None of these groups have the right to break the law. Once this protest gets into the street and they close down the street, like they've been doing for months upon months, when they hurt people, when people get hurt, you have just become a criminal, and that is not protected under the United States Constitution. Me, as a Christian, would hate for my views to be shut down to satisfy some bigot doesn't like me preaching the Word of God. And then the Word of God is very controversial. Very controversial. And I let you guys with this last quote from Malcolm X. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. It has the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. That's power. Because they control the mind of the masses. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me in this week's show. I am Valentine from The Valentine Show. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, please support me. Like I said in the video, this is a brand new venture, so I would like your guys' support. And more than support, I also would like your guys' opinion. This is a platform where people will come and share their opinions without necessarily being bigots. God bless. Enjoy your weekend. And remember, God, family, country, me, Valentine. I'm out.